Kraftwerk was a conceptual art project in the guise of an electronic pop group, and they merit being in a museum art gallery.
That's interesting, isn't it? Because critics would suggest that people go into making conceptual art because they're not really real artists, they're not proper artists. Would you suggest that that might be the case with Kraftwerk then, that they're not really proper musicians?
Over the years, many critics who prefer their rock and roll to be kind of sweaty and guitar-driven have certainly criticised them for being too electronic and too cerebral, but certainly for geeks like me, that's the appeal.
So that was the appeal, was it? The fact that it was something that you could do, that you could emulate?
Very much so. I mean, when I was a 16-year-old and I first saw them, myself and Paul in my band, we had nothing and we had no money. But if they could make music out of Geiger counters and chopped up bits of radio, so could we. So
what's their enduring appeal then?
I think quite simply, there's two things they brought. They were pioneers in a musical style that has now basically seeded its DNA through 40 years of popular music. They are the most influential band in the history of popular music, and also they predicted the future not only of music but the future that we live in today, the technological world.
And are you surprised at perhaps the level of response there has been to getting tickets for this concert? I mean, you're one of the jammy beggars who's managed to get a ticket, thankfully for you, but lots of other people, they just haven't been able to do it, have they?
No, and it's very unfortunate. I mean, obviously, they've chosen venues that are not very large and there's going to be a huge demand. I mean, essentially now, I think Kraftwerk have moved into a part of their career where we're probably not going to see new albums. They're just kind of curating their legacy. And for those who are not going to get tickets, you wonder when they'll come round again. Yeah, it is, you know, it's unfortunate for those who can't get in.
You've been in the music business for a while and you write songs for other people as well. I mean, are there any other bands that you would say are conceptual artists?
There have been. I mean, there's been times when people like David Bowie has been quite conceptual. But I think more than any other, Kraftwerk managed to combine the concepts, the ideas, and the distilling their music down to an incredibly simple but strong art form, and yet still having melodies and a certain melancholy romance, which I think is there, others might dispute.